I guess maybe I'm mad because I feel like an investor who poured everything, that he had into something and then, it just didn't work. In our marriage, I was putting so much effort. I was holding her hand. I was kissing her. Well, I wasn't in love. I was doing it as my duty as a husband. And she's not either. I mean, she quit loving me years ago.
Hey everyone, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is Friday, November 11th, 2022. You know what's funny? Lately, people think that I say it's Kody Brown, but I'm not saying it's Kody Brown. I'm saying it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Apparently, some people think that sounds like Kody Brown, but I'm not Kody Brown. I am Katie Joy. Welcome back to my channel. This is a bonus clip that came out by Entertainment Tonight a couple days ago. And, I have a lot of thoughts here about people trying to minimize Kody's behavior and explain away why he's acting the way he is. And then I get him talking about Christine, and he's blaming Christine, and he's for everything. His kids hating him for his whole life and takes no responsibility. And then they give him the excuse, a cop-out of this is just Kody going through grief. I disagree. Kody has never taken accountability for anything in his life. He doesn't take responsibility. He always deflects, projects, gaslights. This is just who Kody is. He's never been very astute with owning his own feelings and thoughts and his own behaviors. So we're going to talk about this new clip that came out and how Kody is going to try to blame Christine for the reason why the kids don't like him, and also say that he did everything that he was supposed to for Christine. He kissed her, he hugged her. He did it out of a sense of duty. The things that he says, I'm like, yo, if that was my husband, I would be like, yeah, I'm glad I left. How are you going to admit on national television after you've spent 12 years saying that you loved her? I mean, he wrote in his book that he fell in love with her, that, they had a beautiful relationship, and somehow now he just did it out of a sense of duty. And then he wants to call her the liar? Oh man, he is so classical. That's all I'm going to say. So let's dive into this latest clip. Before we do, please do me a very big favor. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel. I am so excited to see so many of you new here. Just click the subscribe button on the way out the door. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up if you like this kind of content. And as well, leave some comments if you have something to say, and ring the bell so you never miss a video. All right, the clip is about Kody saying it's a sense of duty, but to kiss Christine. But that's not how it starts. He's trying to dissect things in his life, and while doing so, he's asking about the kids.
So I'm curious, in all of this, it seems like my relationship with all the kids, the adult kids, is really off too. Have you been talking to the adult kids about this?
No, we don't. We rarely, no one wants to talk about this.
It's like the last several years of the show just haven't happened. It's like everything that we've witnessed on this show isn't really actually what happened. It's like he has selective amnesia. And did you hear the way that he said that? He was very incredulous. It was a loaded question. He is setting this up, and he's already has the decision in his brain, and he's already decided the answer. And he says, what? It's Christine that ruined the relationship with his kids. And she's saying like, no, I don't talk to them about this. Nobody wants to talk to me about this. Did he forget that, he had Garrison crying because of him not being able to see him because of COVID? Garrison angry at him because of his rules about COVID? Does he recall that like he doesn't go out to visit Madison in North Carolina? That he has zero relationship with Logan? Logan didn't even save him a seat at his wedding, like, what does that say? what has Kody actually done? He has been very clear that once a child is beyond, a certain age, he doesn't need that. He doesn't care about them. He only likes the tender aged kids. So he's probably conspiring with Robin with their tender aged kids about the reasons why the older kids don't like him, when he already admits he basically neglects them and kicks them out. He's pretty obvious, but let's see what else he says.
I think your relationship is off with your kids because of COVID, not because of me.
Bull. You're telling them. It's Christine telling them. She's running to this person, to this person, to this person, complain about the relationship. She's playing a game. She has been playing games for years. I just call bull.
I just realized I said Garrison crying. It was Gabriel crying. Does he remember that conversation with Gabriel crying about COVID rules and how he missed his dad? Or what about Isabel? Does he think that Isabel is mad at him about this because of this? No, she's heartbroken because he didn't show up for her surgery. He didn't go to her surgery. I mean, come on now. He didn't go to McKelty's birth. He didn't see, when was the last time he saw Madison? When was the last time he saw Logan? When was the last time he went to Hunter's? Anything. Never. The only person that he has to blame for this is himself. And when he says they're running from this person to this person to this person to this person, wasn't it him that was running to this person to this person to this person because he had to go ask Maddie if his mom said things about him? Isn't he the one that seems to be keeping track of what she's doing and not the other way around? When you are such a narcissist like him, and a malignant one at that, you can never have the ability to actually take accountability. And instead of actually taking accountability for this, they're going to give him a pass. And they're going to call this grief.
I cannot figure out why I'm so angry.
I mean, it is sad.
I've seen you grieving, Kody, in a way I've never seen you grieve before. You disguise it, but it's grief.
I don't know how to explain it. He's just been off. He's gone to a more angry place quicker than he ever did. I finally realized it's a grieving process for him.
I am sure there is grief with a breakup, and there is a pattern and a process that you go through when you lose someone. But this is someone that Kody said he didn't love. And this was someone that Kody said he wasn't attracted to. And this is someone that Kody said he wasn't, their relationship wasn't working. He didn't want to have an intimate marriage with her. He just wanted to coexist. There's no grief when you've already cut it off. I think she's just being too kind. Sometimes I think these women are just very naive, and I don't think they understand narcissism. To me, it's very obvious. This is not grief. This is a narcissistic injury. And because of that injury, he's going to lash out and hurt everyone, and he's going to use the flying monkeys. And, a lot of people don't understand why Janelle does what she does. And sometimes I think Janelle's just one of those enablers. She's not as bad as Robin is in terms of the enabling, but to minimize this to grief and to reduce his abusive behavior to grief is not accurate. Grief doesn't make people abusive. It can make people sad and angry and upset, but he has always been abusive. It's not grief. It's a malignant narcissist being injured, and he lost control.
I guess maybe I'm mad because I feel like an investor who poured everything, that he had into something, and, it just didn't work. In our marriage, I was putting so much effort. I was holding her hand. I was kissing. I wasn't in love. I was doing it as my duty as a husband. And she's not either. She quit loving me years ago.
So he literally admits that he wasn't in love with her, that this was an investment that he didn't get a return on. He looked at this relationship as an investment that he was expecting something out of. Narcissists, every single person is a vehicle for something for themselves. They don't love anyone. They don't love anything but themselves. So for Kody, she was a vehicle of babies, of making him look good in front of his church, get him to heaven. She was a vehicle to his narcissistic need. And she stopped giving him his supply. She stopped engaging in his behavior, and she let go of that. But he wasn't in love with her. He didn't want to kiss her. He didn't want to be intimate with her. He calls it a sense of duty. So if you feel all of these things, the rational person would be like, I understand. It's time to go. Let's move on. But when a narcissist is injured, they can't. And once they're rejected, that's it. He's angry. He's not going to let go. He's just so daft. It's awful.
And now that we're here, I'm just so upset because it's like, it's not the breakup of two people. It's the breakup of a family.
So if you have a wife that you care about and you want her to stay and you want her to have a life with you, wouldn't you nurture that and spend time with her and work through the issues with her? Or just ignore her, tell her you don't want to be intimate with her, treat her like a vehicle for babies, make her feel unattractive, tell her you're not attracted to her, remind her that she's overweight or that she's chubby or that she's not as good as someone else or she's not obedient or submissive, or how you constantly compared her to Robin and, you know, Robin does this, you don't do that. Robin does this, you don't do that. I mean, if you didn't want her there, it wasn't really, and you didn't nurture it, you're the one that didn't care for the family. It wasn't even really a family. Is it really a family when you don't go to your daughter's surgeries, when you don't go to your daughter's births, where you're not even there for your kids, where you give up on your kids and you push them out the door at a certain age? Is it really a family when she lives an independent life and you're there once every, 2 weeks for an hour to see your kids? Is it really a family when outside of the show you have no relationship with this woman? It's not. To you, you're just mad that you, one, are losing your celestial kingdom, maybe. You're mad that you're losing control. You're mad that you've lost your property, because women in these cults are property. It's an investment to him. It was a transaction. He bought Christine. He believes Christine belongs to him. I mean, he was so arrogant and ignorant and rude and cruel and he knew that he had power, and he let that go to his head, and he abused these women because he believed that he could treat them whatever way he wanted and they would just stay, because he believed that Christine was a obedient polygamous daughter that grew up as the prophet's daughter, that would never fight back or not want to be in the polygamist world. Christine, a child from birth that was groomed to live this life, that was told to be the good wife, the obedient wife. He thought that he could do whatever he wanted and she would stay, because he couldn't anticipate that any of his wives would ever leave, because their ticket to heaven is through him. You know, women in these cults, they don't get to go to heaven unless a man invites them. So once they get the invitation, for some of these women, they don't even care if they like the guy, because they're just so glad that they get to go to heaven. So he gets to abuse the women, treat them however they want, because he can say, well, if you leave me, you're not going to heaven, right? I'm the ticket to heaven. You know, the sad thing in this cult is, imagine you are going to go to heaven and then your eternity is spent with an asshole that you spent your whole life with. Would you really want to spend your whole life with an asshole like that didn't care about your kids, that wasn't there for them, that broke their hearts? No. Christine woke up and realized that's not what I want. And she literally said, I need to stand with my kids. You know, they are capable of making their own decisions about their father, and his actions speak louder than words. They're just a number to him. They're just the more children, the more wives, they get more blessings in heaven. They don't care about the women. They don't care about the kids. It's about ownership. It's about ego. It's about narcissism. It's about control. I'm glad Christine left. I'm sad that some others of these women haven't left. And I hope someday all of them wake up. And I hope even Robin wakes up, Because as much as I dislike Robin, she's going to end up on the other end of that abuse too. It's impossible not to. He doesn't love anyone but himself. And if Robin thinks that she's won the golden ticket, she hasn't. He will abuse her too. So what are your thoughts about this? Tell me in the comments below. Bye, guys.